living systems operate from your cells to galaxies. And so it really is a holographic energy system, one organism that we call universe. And we are the consciousness of universe. We're the frothy edge of it. Waking up and realizing that we are really able to play in this wonderland of energy and information. What was the question?
Well, it's fascinating to me that you point out so many resources, and you're acknowledging that we're not alone, and yet we're talking about a lot of change, a lot of rapid change. So I'm wondering what you might have to offer to help us deal with change and the fear that might be around the change as we see it and experience it.
You want to
You're on the air.
No pressure.
I think that, again, looking at that idea from the left brain and old perception, which is linear, it looks difficult. Change is like a process. It's going to be effortful or upsetting or whatever, and it's going to take time. But again, from the new perception point of view, when you're in the moment and everything's there with you, there's actually very little change. It's just get rid of the clutter, and you're there. Just get rid of what isn't the home frequency. And don't pay attention. That's why I say the subtitle of that is the transforming power of your attention. Because attention is going to be the most powerful force for getting the intuition age to occur. What you put your attention on manifests. You see the life force in it, and it comes alive. What you take your attention out of dissolves back into the field. So it's attention that creates everything, really. And so, change, I'm not even sure there's a change, right? I mean, it could just be nothing. When you get into the vibration of it all, what happened?
Yes. Yeah. Well, that was interesting.
Was that mine? Did that happen to me? Yeah. Was that a dream?
Right.
What I see as one of the ways to deal with the upsets, the perturbations, the waves of discomfort and confusion, and again, this is drawing from A Course in Miracles, he says that our only function here is forgiveness. So while we experience ourselves as these separate beings, what is causing the separation in the mind of the one who's experiencing him or herself as a separate being, what's causing it is lack of love in some way, shape, or form. And so the only proper solution to any energy frequency that is separation-based is to forgive it, to love it. And so in this moment, you can actually train yourself to go into like this nanosecond rapidity of forgiving everything that arises, every thought, every emotion, every bodily sensation, every image that you're seeing. You can train yourself to actually feel nothing but utter and total forgiveness and release it. And when you're no longer holding it in three-dimensionality, you clear, you get back into the field. And when you're back into the field, you're back into this all-encompassing love that you co-create with. But you didn't know it was there because you were locked in grievances and holding these loveless ideas as your reality.
And I would say that too, again, back to the left brain. When we're living in the left brain with the way we've been used to thinking about reality, that there has to be proof, it has to be safe, and it's all defined and locked down, and it causes those holdings, you know, that you've got your beliefs, you know, and you need that structure in order to be safe. And as soon as you stop the internal dialogue and you just be, you move to the right brain, which also connects you to the body, the heart, and the field. It's an immediate shift. And there you are. You're right immediately back in intuition, into direct knowing, and immersion, into, you know, direct experience. And it's a second of a shift. That's all.
Yes. I have a feeling we're all there right now.
Maybe we should explore some of the diamond light bodies out here. And see if there are any comments or suggestions. Here we go.
You asked specifically, with all the change, what do you do when fear arises? And I think my thought succinctly fits with both of their answers quite nicely, which is to remember that all fear, be aware that all fear is unreal.
Hello. I have a couple questions. One is just with regard to the 3 books that you mentioned, John. If it's important to read the books in order of like the first one followed by the next, or if it matters.
An intuitive way is a course on intuition development. It presents a lot of the initial concepts. But I think you could read Frequency and then Leap of Perception, and then if you wanted to go back to Intuitive Way, it would fill in a lot of the little gaps. But I think Leap of Perception is not as understandable first, do you think? It's more of an advanced level. Once you get the frequency concepts, then this is the next step.
Okay, so it sounds like you're saying read them in reverse.
I'm saying maybe read Frequency first,
Yeah.
then Leap, and then go back. Unless,
3-2-1.
yeah.
And the second question was, I saw a reference on your website that I had never seen quite explained that way about when you lose your memory, how you're just going into a different state of consciousness. And I was curious about that from the dementia or Alzheimer's aspect. We saw a pre-screening movie of Glenn Campbell and his progression of the disease Alzheimer's, which was amazing because he did 151 concerts after being diagnosed, and it was the music that kept him going, and he could just keep playing that guitar like nothing. Now, he forgot the words, he had to have a teleprompter for the words, but as far as the music went, that never left him. So I wonder if you could comment on that, just the whole thing of losing your memory. I mean, I know we all have brief lapses, but then there's the more advanced. Thank you.
My thought about Alzheimer's is often that it arises because the person is afraid of death, and that they have to let go in increments. You know, so they have these, you know, rock out into the other world and maybe through the right brain and have this kind of abstract experience of they come on back in, then go back out again, then come back in, you know, until finally there's a relaxing of the will or a fear, until you just, you know, in the higher state. So I don't know, but I would imagine there would be right brain perception going through the whole thing. You know? It might be close to an enlightened state, maybe. Who knows? Yes.
You mentioned millions of beings, you know, helping us. Would you regard that as spirits, or, you know, people from another dimension? I mean, what, you talk about the nature of that.
I sense them as higher frequency beings that might be more intergalactic, or they might come from other